What we really want to do is have people live a healthy life into their 80s or even 90s, as people often do today. And we know that atherosclerosis is a disease that evolves over 20, 30 years. So having a zero calcium score at the age of 50 is fantastic. It's a great thing. It means you've probably either got good genes or been living well up to this point in time. But we all, of course, have to continue to be attentive to our cardiovascular health throughout our entire lives. And the things that we know that matter, number one is probably not smoking. Smoking is the single biggest detrimental thing that people do to themselves that they have complete control over. Obesity is another very, very big one. And of course, in the South, it's even more important. But across the United States, 30% of people today, of adults, are clinically obese. And the prediction is that by 2030, that's going to double again, so that 60% of the population is predicted to be obese. So I'm an advocate of walking. I think it's the thing that people are most likely to do and to maintain. I mean, if somebody will ride their bike or run or swim, that's great. But in my personal experience, it's less likely that people continue to do those things on a long-term basis. Whereas people that walk, especially if they have a way to make it habitual, if they have a walking partner, if they have a place, if they have a time, it's much more likely that they're going to continue those healthy habits. Diet is another big one. It's particularly important in this part of the country where we see a lot of fried food, a lot of very, very salty foods, and we have a lot of high blood pressure and hypertension down here that leads to not only heart disease, but a lot of kidney disease and stroke as well. We're right in the middle of the stroke belt here in the South, and hypertension is really the main thing that contributes to that. So eating a sensible diet, minimizing salt intake, minimizing intake of animal fats, and increasing the intake of plants. I tell people to eat a plant-based diet, and that means fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, all those sorts of things. More plants, fewer animals is better. And you don't have to get obsessive and crazy about, trans fats and this kind of stuff and reading millions of labels. It's really pretty simple. I mean, you can tell when something is you've got a piece of broccoli sitting there as opposed to something that's been cooked in lard.